All right, let's get into plugins. So plugins are basically short code for WordPress. I don't mess around with code. Again, I mentioned I'm not a developer. I like things that save me time and are usually free. And these plugins are all of those things. They are a web designer's holy grail. It gives us the ability to manipulate the website without having to get into the source code and possibly break the website and your brain. So that's a good thing. All right, I'm just going to go ahead over my top 5 or 6 plugins that I really think are great and that you should do on your initial setup. There's plenty of plugins that you can use as you go, but these kind of plugins are great to use right off the bat because it can be really frustrating to try and add them later. All right, so I am going to start with, which one did I want to start with? Yes, WP Staging. So staging websites are basically practice websites. It clones your web page, your website that you've got installed already, and then you can practice on that without doing any damage to your live site. Once you like the changes that you've made, you can push it to your live site so that you don't have to go back and do the work again. I use staging websites a lot. For example, I was just fussing around with adding Google Tags and Google Analytics to my page. And it took me about 3 tries and 3 completely broken websites before I figured out how to get the code in there correctly for it all to work. And that was really frustrating. Can you imagine how bad it would be if I had to go back and rebuild the website 3 different times or restore it because I was smart, followed my own advice, and used backups? Yeah, please consider using a staging site. So staging, you just come into here, WP Staging. Once you activate it, it's over here. Go to staging sites. And there's my staging site right there, WWC Copy. You can also create a new one. So if I open it, this is one of my favorite features. I guess you can't see it because it opens in another tab. Anyway, when it opens in a new tab, it changes the color at the top. So all of this up here is orange, which means I know that I'm working on my staging site and not on my live site, which is good when you're working at 3 in the morning and you're super tired. Okay, so back to plugins. That's a great one. Please download that one and play around on that. Okay, so after WP Staging, I highly recommend Elementor. So here's Elementor and Elementor Pro, and you can see once you install them that they're over here. For Pro, you will need a license, and it is about $50 a year, but it's so worth it. Elementor is beautiful, and I will be using Elementor throughout the rest of this series. It's a drag and drop editor, so you can change and customize anything on your website, make beautiful pages. My favorite part, and the part I want to show you right now, is the tools. No, Elementor templates. Oh, I'm sorry, it's in the templates section. So templates, kit library. The templates come with Elementor. So a kit library is completely done websites for you. You just have to customize them for your brand and your content. And it's amazing. The only thing I want to note about this, let's just click this as an example. Oh, picked the wrong one because that's an expert one. We don't want to do that. Okay, let's try just a basic one. Okay, see this button here that says Apply Kit? Don't click that. Do not click that if you have any content on your website already because it'll all disappear. So definitely don't do that. If you want a new website, kits are great. They're already done, linked, beautiful, everything's all correct, and all you have to do is add in what you want. So I think they're really great. Let's go to the overview. I'll show you where you can see what all comes. So here's all the pages that you get. And there's shops, there's shops that are customized to your product, there's blogs, there's just everything. They have everything. So the kit library is absolutely fabulous. Let's get back to the dashboard. Just one second. I also like that you can do custom fonts over here, custom icons, custom code. I use that a lot for embedding HTML codes. It's so easy. Custom fonts, I did all my branding fonts up there. It's really, really, really helpful, and I really enjoy it. Also in templates, you can make new. So I have my blog post template. So anytime I want to make a blog post, I just click that, and it'll take me to a blank blog post that's already applied for how I want my blog posts to look that I designed in Elementor. So I'll show you how to do that later, but that's really, really nice and helpful. Okay, so that's Elementor. They're great. Definitely recommend that. Let's go back to plugins. let's talk about AMP, Accelerated Mobile Pages. And along with that, we'll talk about Short Pixel, which is right here, Short Pixel. So AMP is basically going to mobile optimize your website for mobile, and it's really great. Make sure to do the setup. You have to set all these things up. Here is where you set up your analytics tracking. You can see I have Google Analytics and Google Tag. It was very challenging to set up, so if you want to reach out to a developer and ask them to do that by themselves quickly, that would be fine. I would recommend that if you're a newbie. And then once this is all set up, all my pages will be optimized for mobile, which is a really big deal because pretty much everybody experiences the internet on their phones these days. Okay, and then Short Pixel, I don't need to show you because it's pretty self-explanatory. Short Pixel is an image compression service. So the bulk of your website is going to be images and video. And if it takes a very long time to load them, people will get annoyed and leave your site. Right? We all know this. Short Pixel Image Optimizer will optimize all of the images on your site so that they load very quickly and gives you that lightning fast responsive website page that you really want. So I highly recommend it. It's cheap. There's a bunch of options for these. I just like Short Pixel. You can go with whatever. We got a ton of reviews. Lots of people do like top 10 image compression services on WordPress. Just pick whichever one you want. They all cost something. You're not going to be able to do it for completely free unless you've only got like 2 images on your website. You could go into Photoshop, compress all of your images, and then upload them again, but that would be like a year's worth of work, and you really don't want to do that to yourself, trust me. Pay the $5.99, get the plugin. Okay, let's see. Child Theme Configurator is next, and I mentioned that in my last video. That basically just makes a child theme of whatever theme you have installed on WordPress. Then you activate it, and any of your customizations won't get lost for an update. So I highly recommend that one. It's very easy to use, very safe, won't lose any of your data or anything. It's really nice. Okay, the next one I want to talk about is Yoast. So I'm going to go into Yoast so you can see. Yoast is sorry, I always forget. It's the Y right there. Okay, so Yoast is the SEO plugin that I use. So it allows me to do bulk editing of my metadata, which is what shows up when you Google something in Google, the little snippets of text. And it also gives me some on-page SEO suggestions for all of my content, which I really appreciate. So here's where it'll tell you all the features, what you can turn on and turn off, which I really like. There is an upgrade to premium. I don't have it. I don't really think it's necessary. I have it integrated with my SEMrush SEO tools, which are really, really useful, but only if you're actually doing SEO as your job. You don't really need that for a beginner, and it's like $100 a month, so you definitely don't need to buy that. Okay, one of the things I also want to show you here is your tools. Here's that bulk editor I was talking about. So useful, so helpful to not have to go back to each page. But if you go to each page, then it'll also show you your on-page SEO options, which I will show you when I edit this blog post, and I'll show you how to optimize it with a focus keyword and all that stuff. Okay, so that's the plugins that I would recommend. There's a million. If you want to add a new plugin, go ahead to add new. And then you can upload. If you download the file from the plugin website, then you just upload it here, or you can search here and all of them will come up, and you just install and then activate and you're off and running. All right. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you.